Yep. Why won't this go? Okay. Alright, so today we're going way back to the basics on exponents, but I just want to give you guys a preview of what else is coming. So today is like the super basics, like what does 4 to the 5th power mean? Monday will be laws of exponents that I know you've had before, but we will review all those laws, like when you multiply expressions, you add the exponents, all those ones. So we'll review those ones on Monday. Okay. On Tuesday, we will talk about rational exponents. That's when you have like the fractions in your exponents. So that stuff should still be kind of review. Then we're gonna don't panic, but we are going to do foiling and factoring with exponents that are variables. So that's where, like I told you, that factoring comes back. Then we're gonna get to exponential equations, which I know you've done before. We'll talk about graphing and functions, growth and decay, and then the natural exponent e. So just to kind of give you guys a preview of where all this is heading. And like I said, back to the basics here. So if I have a to the nth power, that means a times a times a times a, n times. So keep in mind that a is the base, and that n is the exponent or the index. Have you guys heard the exponent called the index before?
No.
So I usually use exponent, so you won't really have to worry about it with me, but just in case you run across that language somewhere else, the word index also means exponent.
Do we need a stopbox?
You do. All right, so one quick example. What does 5 to the 3rd power mean? Absolutely. Now, whether you know that answer by heart, whether you have to use a calculator, whether you use 5 to the 3rd power, it's 125. But we know what that means. What? That's going to come in handy for you. Okay, we're going to quickly talk about negative bases for a second, but are we all good? Like I said, super basics review today, which is perfect for early release. I'm loving it. Okay, so just remember that a negative base raised to an odd exponent is negative. But if you have a negative base raised to an even exponent, that's positive. It has to do with our rules for integer multiplication or positive and negative multiplication. And it is really important to keep in mind, especially if you are using your calculator, because like, for example, the one I have, well, this one I happen to know, but if you get to something that you don't have memorized, like 6 to the 6th power or something, and you need to use your calculator, be careful with it. Because this, excuse me, so if I had negative 5 to the, let's say, 5th power, it's not the same as this, especially in your calculator. Does someone say why? Okay, I'll explain it when you guys are done writing. They're not the same. So because this first one means I've got 5 negative 5s, right? 5, I don't know why I picked 5, that's so many. Right? That's what that means. Well, when I do order of operations, I have to do my exponent first. So I would have 5 times 5, and I would have 5 of these. But this negative is then out front. So actually these ones end up being equal because I picked a bad number, but
We get the point.
do you get the point?
Yeah.
I should have put 4 in there.
Raised to the 4th.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be.
No, this is what I should have done. Yeah, I should have did 4th power.
Yeah.
That's better. There we go. Change it. Do it to the fourth power. It makes more sense. So make sure you change it for your notes in case you get confused and go back to it, okay? Because this one over here is going to be even, right? Because I've got to an even power. But over here, because that negative is applied after the exponent's applied, that one would be negative. Okay. Does that make sense now? After we modified that little example? And it came up in the homework second hour, which is why I wanted to say it. Alright, so what about this one? If I've got negative 1 to the 4th power, is it going to be positive or negative? Positive, because it's an even power. In fact, it's going to be positive 1. So on your homework, there are like different problems that you're going to try to do with a calculator and try to do without a calculator. And I know some of them are like writing a bunch of powers of 5 and a bunch of powers of 7, which might seem kind of tedious, but you'll see that the more powers of 2, powers of 3, powers of 5, and powers of 7 that you can recognize, the better off you will be later. So even though that might seem kind of boring for your assignment, it will help you in the long run. And that's it.
That was tough.
I told you guys this would be great.
Joe was right. This was difficult.